So, short answer, so that you don't need to stick here for too long, best bet is to go for Yuzuha if you're trying to decide on who you should go for. Because your question is, do you pull for Yuzuha right now, or wait for an Astra rerun? The main problem with an Astra rerun is we just had one, so you're probably going to be waiting a very, very long time before she reruns again. So best bet is to pull for Yuzuha. But that also depends if the teams you use specialize in anomaly, because Yuzuha is an anomaly support, whereas Astra is kind of like an overall support that just buffs basically everyone. Let me just break this down. Here's some stats for you guys. So, once you reach a certain threshold of attack for either character, they give a 1200%, a 1200 point buff to all characters' attack stats, which is already absurd. And then, let's go for Astra's first. She gives a 25% to crit damage, a 25% buff to overall bonus damage, a guaranteed 3,000 points of healing for every character on your team every time she uses her ultimate, and the next two characters you swap in are guaranteed to be able to just get a free ultimate off with the buffed damage that Astra provides them, and an extra 24% damage from disk drives. Which, that is already absurd. There's a reason Astra is a mainstay on so many teams. Meanwhile, Yuzuha is effectively the anomaly-specific Astra, because she gives 15% bonus damage, up to 20% anomaly build-up rate, up to 20% to all attribute anomaly damages, up to 20% increase to disorder damage, plus 25 energy for squads, for squad teammates, every single ultimate. And as for off-field, the ally elemental anomaly application is increased. And again, the 24% increase to damage via disk drives. So as for these two, while Yuzuha is here, I say it's best to go for her, but mainly, especially, if you use anomaly characters. If you don't use anomaly characters at all, or very rarely, if you use attack or stunners primarily, then best bet you probably shouldn't go for her, because she's mostly built to buff anomaly characters, and if you don't use them, or use maybe one, then it's probably not very good for long-term investment. So Astra would definitely be your way to go in that regard. But again, if you do prioritize using an anomaly team, for example, if you run a Miyabi Yanagi, then Yuzuha is going to be absolutely absurd. One question I don't know off the top of my head, though, is how good are they going to be side by side? Because sure, both can buff anomaly, and just, there's a reason Astra's currently on Miyabi and Yanagi teams, but I haven't seen side by side of who is objectively better. But at least to me, I'd say Yuzuha is very good. You should probably go for her. But if you also want the added healing effect, then Astra is definitely the way to go. But I'm gonna be so honest here. This is basically a long-winded way of me saying that you should definitely go for both. Because every single support in this game has some benefit. And seeing as certain game modes, especially something like Shiryu, you need to have at least multiple teams. So, let's say you're doing Deadly Assault, if you put a team that has Astra, for the other two missions, you just don't have an Astra. You don't have someone who's going to give you those buffs. So it's good to have an extra support that is going to be insanely powerful, which Yuzuha is definitely going to be that. But one last thing, and in my opinion the most important, is if you enjoy how they play. Because it doesn't matter how good a character is if you don't like their playstyle. Because you can be meta, you could be whatever you want, but if you're not having fun, does it truly even matter?